sure that community service would always be a priority in our state. I'm Governor Jim Pillen, and this year I'm inviting you to help celebrate Serve Nebraska's 30th year by becoming a volunteer. Our state's best resource is its people. You have the potential to make a significant impact. Thank you.
Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. The host is always to my left, and we got a guest in studio as well. But nonetheless, Chancellor Brewington, I'll let you bring him in. What do we got tonight?
Yeah, man, this one's special. I've been looking forward to this one. We've had a few teammates on, but this has been one of my favorite teammates of all time. Outstanding individual, great football player. Even better person, Nick Henrich, man.
Man, that's a heck of an intro. Hey, it's always good to talk to you, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I would not lie. So I like to, we got a lot to talk about, but I like to do these for probably like the first 10 minutes. I just want to get to know you. You know what I'm saying? Act like I don't know. And I'm going to learn a lot of things about you. Obviously, I know we're locker mates and we had those sure. 6 a.m. conversations, but we didn't get very deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But man, where are you from? You know, like just how was your upbringing? I just want to know where you're from.
Yeah. Local guy, Omaha, Nebraska. I mean, just Huskers have been a part of my life for a while. I wouldn't say I really grew up a Nebraska fan like most local kids did, but I mean, you obviously such a big following and fan base. I think everyone knows about that.
Right.
Pops was a tennis player, actually.
Okay.
So I dabbled in that a little bit back and forth, but ended up pursuing football and really fell in love with it since probably, 7, 8 years old and never really looked back. And ended up committing here and just best experience of my life. So it was fantastic.
Okay. So growing up, was it just in high school? Was it just football?
Yeah, I ran track for a while, but I ended up mainly just focusing on football because I wanted to get recruited and go to camps and just really put my name out there as much as I could.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about you in high school, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Good ones, I hope.
Good ones.
Okay.
Fantastic ones. I heard that you were probably the best player in the state, like hands down. I know you're not going to say whatever.
No,
I know, but Slat has told me, Luke confirmed it, Chris Hickman told me, everyone has told me to go watch a highlight. So I got to watch them at some point. But I mean, it's true.
I was blessed with. I mean, we had a really good team. Ended up bringing Burke the first state title in school history, which was super special. I mean, Xavier Watts was on that team. Who, you see what he's doing at Notre Dame. It's just special. So it was a great group of guys and a lot of fun for sure.
Man, so what was the early recruiting process like for you? Like, was it when did it pop off? Because I know a lot of guys, it was sophomore going into junior going into senior. What was it for you?
It was the second semester of my sophomore year. I remember I got offered from South Dakota State and I didn't even have Twitter. Like, I didn't even know of anything about recruiting. I didn't know you could even get offered that early, honestly.
Right.
So I was like, what do you mean you're offering me? So I didn't get it at all. And then I ended up having a visit to Minnesota like that next week. And I was just happy to be there.
Right.
And I honestly felt like I was like, man, like I don't belong. Like these kids are like probably all stars. And then there's me that's just like, I was like 170 pounds from Nebraska, just a skinny sophomore. So then I ended up meeting with Coach Fleck and got the first Division I offer. And I think that's when it really like hit me. And that's when it kind of took off from there.
Really?
It was just crazy ever since.
So when was the point for you? I know obviously the offer, things took off, but when was it for you where you're like, man, I can really play this game at a high level?
Probably like, honestly, 7th or 8th grade. I always played up in football, so I always played with an age above. And I think when I got to my 8th grade and I was playing against kids my own age, I was like, okay, I can do this at a pretty high level. And then ended up playing varsity on like as a freshman.
Oh my goodness!
High school,
oh,
which I was again scrawny little kid, just kind of out there,
just all grit.
Oh, all grit, zero skill, all grit. But that's when I was like, maybe there's something here. But I still thought I'd get recruited junior, senior year. I didn't know it was possible.
Right. So senior year comes around, and it's time to commit. When did you commit?
I committed the summer going into my senior year because I wanted to get it over with, honestly. I was just sick of the recruiting process in general.
Was it Nebraska dead set? Once Nebraska came in, was it I'm committing? Was it already?
Not necessarily.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I went in with a completely open mind recruiting, and again, was blessed to have been recruited by some really prestigious, great universities. I loved like Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Iowa State. I think they're all very much so in it till the very end, but I honestly just really connected with Coach Rude, especially. And that kind of just drove me. I was like, oh, Nebraska's right here. Like, it's a place for me. Like, I want to play for my home state.
So then you, senior year, obviously, y'all win. Is it senior year you win it?
Yep,
so senior year you win it. And then you go into Nebraska summertime?
Early enrolled.
Oh, what was that like?
It was wild. It was we had a good crew though rolling in. It was like we had Wandell and Luke McCaffrey and Nelly, of course.
Oh my gosh.
So
squad.
I mean, we had the squad. Grant Banks, Jamie Nance, Chris Hickman. We still keep in touch for the OG7.
I love it.
And you love to see Wandell doing big things and Luke as well, pursuing and Nelly pursuing the NFL. So it's been really cool seeing those guys. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy being the new kid on campus. I think even then it wasn't necessarily the norm to early enrollee. There was only 7 of us.
That was pretty early.
Yeah, and I think this upcoming Nebraska class had like 16 or something crazy. So it was cool kind of being the young, new, dumb kid on, you know what I mean, on campus, not knowing a thing. But yeah, it was cool. It was a good experience.
So now that you've gone through that, do you wish that you would have stayed in high school a little bit, or was it kind of ready to?
Yeah, I was ready to go in there. And at that point, I was really pushing to play as a freshman, ended up blowing out my shoulder in the spring. So that didn't happen, but I still think it was a great experience to, learn the defense, learn how to just operate as a college student. And I think if you come in the summer, like most freshmen, it's almost impossible to fully adapt by the time fall comes. And then, I mean, you hit the ground running and then it's just over from there.
Yeah. You got 3 weeks in this fall camp.
Yeah. And then good luck.
Yeah.
That's
good
all
luck.
I can say.
Yeah,
good luck.
Good luck. So, okay. So I didn't even know about that. So springtime, you blow out your shoulder. Was it labrum?
Labrum and like a Latarjet procedure. So they had to replace the bone and stuff.
Okay. So that's kind of your first like few months in college?
Yeah, that was like, I think that happened in March. So I was then slinged up for a while, which sucked. And yeah, kind of brutal. But again, it was nice at least getting acclimated and feeling like I was a part of the team. And that's something that you really just can't. Injury or not, is pretty priceless.
Right. So that was 2019?
Yep, 2019.
Okay, so then you missed 19 season.
Correct.
Come back COVID year.
Gritty year.
Yeah.
I mean, gritty year.
Yeah. I mean, I was not there for that. That was the year right before I came in.
Right.
What was that like? And that was your first year getting acclimated? Did you get some PT?
Yeah, that was my first year really playing.
Okay.
I actually moved to outside backer for a while. Again, gritty.
Just all grit.
Yeah, we had a bunch of injuries, and they're like, Nick, we need someone that's like rush the passer. And I was like, I did a little in high school, and they're like, all right, you're putting your hand in the dirt, and you're playing like DN basically.
You was playing a 9?
I was playing a 9.
Ever jump in a 6? You jumped in a 6?
I jumped in a 6.
Oh my gosh.
It was horrible. First game was against Ohio State.
Oh, brother.
I think their tackle went 3rd round. I mean, he had my number on game. It was tough. But no, so I played D-end essentially for a while and actually improved. It wasn't a liability out there, as I kept progressing and I was kind of getting the hang of it. And then Colin Miller went down. he had terrible spine injury, which
Right.
was probably the scariest moment I've ever seen playing or watching. Like, couldn't move. We all thought he was paralyzed or worse. So that was brutal. So then I jumped back to inside. Then Luke goes down, and I jump right in there against Minnesota and played 60 snaps. And ever since then, been found a home and inside.
So did the obviously just being in a D-line position, like, did that help you just knowledge wise and knowing like just different things about the game?
Yeah, I think before that, just being a young guy, you're kind of just trying to learn your position. You know what I mean? You're like, man, like I got to master this before I go elsewhere.
Right.
That really gave me a chance to like, okay, learn another position. You understand why they're doing this, which helps you understand why the safeties are doing that. And then it just kind of all works together when you end up going back to your main position, I guess.
Right. So then 2020 happens, right? You come back 2021 year. How was that? The famous 3-9 or 3? What was it?
3-9. Yeah.
Was it 3-9?
3-9.
3-9. Yeah, the famous year where the worst best college. Yeah, whatever. Right. Yeah. Who cares really? But that's like your first real time solidified role.
Yeah.
In the defense. Black shirt 2020 or first time black shirt?
First time black shirt 2021. Yeah.
What was that like?
It was surreal. I think at that moment too, I was just really thankful to be healthy because I had really from 2017 on, I think I didn't go a season without like a major ligament torn or a major injury or surgery. So 2021 was great just because I was healthy.
All right.
And I was just happy to kind of like, I was like, wow, I'm starting like continuing to start and play some good football with Luke, and cool to kind of build that chemistry together. And, you know, get a black shirt was always one of my goals when I went to Nebraska. So that was a special year, although it was, as you know, extremely challenging and
100%
mentally very draining for a lot of reasons.
Man, for real. So, and you touched on it. This is a question I want to get at, like just playing with Luke. I like, obviously backers, you have to have tremendous communication, tremendous chemistry. You guys got to know each other like the back of your hands. What was that like on the field? And then how did it translate off the field? I know we'll get into it 2022 and 2023 season, but I just want to know, like, what was it like?
I mean, Luke and I we were pretty tight ever since he came in the summer.
Right.
Like we kind of gravitated towards each other, just, you know, similar work ethics and mindset. So it was cool to, I guess, just connect and see how hard he was working as a walk-on, and see as just from day one in camp, he just dominated. You're like, oh, this guy's like great ball player and a great guy. So you want to be around people like that, obviously. And to get those many reps together, the communication's everything. So we kind of know what each one of us was going to do before the play even happened, which allowed us to play off each other a lot better and really play off each other's strengths and weaknesses, which is pretty special when you're playing with a player and you can know that stuff.
No, especially at backer. I don't think a lot of just the common fans, I don't think they understand how much goes into that.
Oh,
and if
man.
if you guys aren't on the same page, it's a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and it might look like it was Luke's fault when it was
It's
my
really
fault,
your
or vice versa. Yeah, exactly. So you won't want to leave your boy out to dry.
No, for
and
sure.
that's where the brotherhood comes in. You're like, okay, I got to lock in, got to do my job, got to communicate to the D-line and just make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, so, I mean, just to touch on that 21 season, just a little bit, like,
talk to me.
Showing up to practice every day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what, like,
it was, I mean, I think Coach Rude was the perfect leader in that room because he's a guy who was, you know, he was in the, actually, you know, just Falcons job, linebacker coach. Shout out to Coach Rude.
Man, shout out.
Love to see him doing big things. But he was the perfect man to lead that room because he had been in seasons where they've done, you know, so-called the right way. They've practiced hard. They've whatever, and the results haven't been there. And they're just looking for answers. But he always said, like, hey, it's always 75 and sunny. That was his thing. Like, always like 75 and sunny. You got to show up to work no matter how you feel or no matter what the fans are saying or no matter what our record is. Like, we have a game to play this week. And that opponent doesn't care about how we feel. So
yeah, there were some battles. There were some battles that I mean, you look at the Michigan game. That's the one off top. I'm always just like, I don't really like to talk about it too much.
Atmosphere.
You know? Yeah.
Like, honestly, most fun game.
Oh my gosh!
Until like the end. Like,
oh my gosh!
I mean, you coming here to Nebraska your first year, that had to have been crazy for you.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. What is going on?
Fourth quarter? We're doing what?
And then, I mean, that was an electric atmosphere for sure. And number 3-4 team in the country. We couldn't get it done, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was brutal.
And then you go to Michigan State.
Mm-hmm. Heartbreaker.
We have a close one at Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Heartbreaker.
We have a close one. We have a close one with Ohio State.
Heartbreaker.
We pick off C.J. Stroud 2 times.
2 times.
He didn't throw 2 picks the whole year.
It's like you watch him now, you're like, I played against that guy.
Man.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Man, we have Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was crazy. Yeah.
That
was a great atmosphere.
That was a really great atmosphere.
Oh my
God. Is that the
gosh.
50-year game? Or no? Is that another
Yeah.
year? That was the 50-year anniversary?
Because that was they showed the little video before, and it was a bunch of. I think the coolest thing was when they ran the little tank or whatever, the cat. I don't even know what they call it.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
They ran it across.
I just remember how hot it was.
Oh my
gosh. It was like 100 and something. I'm just glad they played on grass. Otherwise, we would have all been hurting.
Yeah, and then obviously the last one we have the Iowa game. Yeah, but we got them back. We did. We got them back.
It was brutal.
Yeah, we got them back.
2021 was a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. So then obviously we go 2022 and we have. I thought personally, tell me if I'm wrong.
Talk to me.
I thought that things was going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
for what we had.
Yeah, going into that off season, into the first game, I think we were as confident as a team.
Oh my gosh!
As confident, we're like, okay, this is the year we finally get it right. And then, I mean, we just lay an egg the first week, and then everything's out of control from there.
And then a tight one with North Dakota.
Yeah,
going into halftime.
That game was a lot closer than people think.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, I remember we're game planning we're halfway against Ohio State or something. Yeah. And then obviously the Georgia Southern.
Yeah, talk to me about that one. How that was for you? Because I didn't play that game. I had a broken hand.
Oh, that one.
I had to sit out that one.
You did?
Yeah, It was horrible,
bro. Oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I remember that, bro. That was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah,
it was like they could not score on offense.
Yeah, it was like they completed every pass.
No, every pass. It was one of the best games that running back has ever played.
Mm-hmm.
That quarterback,
he was on fire.
Oh my gosh, and they were great players, of course, but just it was so tough. I think it ended up being 45-43 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We scoring points on offense. It was just I think that was the theme of the whole year. It was offense, this defense, and that was it was in 21 year. Mainly defense was on point.
Yeah, I mean it's a team game though. Things happen. And
right.
I think that that 2022 year was. I mean, Coach Frost getting fired obviously was. It was brutal. You find out over a teamwork's message. You know what I mean? It's crazy. No one knows what's going on.
That was a day.
And then you go back in and Coach Mickey's like, we got stuff Sunday. And now you're trying to adjust. I think they could have put out any team that next week we would have lost.
No, you could have put out North Dakota. We probably would have lost that game.
Yeah, we probably would have. No one knew. It was insane.
Do you remember the meeting Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, AD Frost gives the last words. Mickey comes in 5 seconds later, gives a spiel and says, "Go get your shorts on. You're running and lifting.
We need to get better today.
Yeah, we're getting better. Oh yeah, we have 9-on-7 coming up. Pad up. Let's go.
All right, let's roll, fellas. Yeah,
I remember. Man, me and Nick would come in every morning.
Crack the neck.
Yep. Get the thigh pads on.
Here we go, Chance.
And let's go.
We got to roll today.
We got 9-on-7 today.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I truthfully think one of my favorite moments of my career was when we beat Indiana and Mickey's first victory.
Oh man.
Not necessarily the most, glamorous win or anything like that, but I think that was so needed for that team that year.
Gosh.
And we had such a, it seemed like no one believed in us and no one, they were just writing us off. And it was just, it honestly felt like we might not win another game.
And yes.
Just getting it done versus that team. I remember feeling the joy in that locker room was something really special. And that was definitely a really cool moment to share with that 2022 group.
Yeah. Cause I remember Oklahoma got the fans left.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to the fans. I know we didn't do what we were supposed to, but circumstances, of course, but fans leave, and then Indiana, we get the win, and then we go to Rutgers.
Rutgers was special too.
Oh my gosh.
A Rutgers road game, man. That was different. Never out of the fight, man.
Never out of the fight. Oh my gosh.
That was a gritty win.
No, you guys 13, I think it was 13-0 at halftime.
Yeah, and then it was 10-0 and then we won 13-10.
Won 13-10. My goodness. That was a time. But obviously 21 had a bunch of moments.
Sure did.
And then 2022, new coach.
Yep.
3 days after the season.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it like coming back, and how much of a shift was it?
Yeah.
Like, how much was it like? Because I know how it was with Frost and just the whole staff and just the environment. Not to say it was bad, good, or indifferent. It was just different, right?
Right.
And then you go to Rule, and he runs things a certain way.
And
then, like, what was the adjustment like?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember, because I tore my ACL against Purdue.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about that.
Game after Rutgers, which was, again, absolutely brutal. And I'm thinking like, I'm done with football. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like, it's over with. Like, I've had so many knee problems before. And then I find out, like, in the locker room before the game started in Iowa, I see on Twitter that we hire Coach Rule. And I'm like, man, I hope none of these guys see it. Like, because we got to go play a game, like we got a rivalry game. And I don't think, no one was really on social media or on their phone like that. So I think most people found out afterwards, but I just remember flying back. We're like, fellas, like, we're just going to enjoy the night.
Oh, that was a great night.
That was a great night. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. And then, like, we'll come back in tomorrow and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I remember, it was like 3 days later, Coach Rule comes in, and everyone's just kind of like eggshells. Like, no one knows what to expect.
Yeah.
And then even, like, we had a good meeting with him. And he was like, we're going to meet with everyone, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he made it a point that, like, we're his players, and he's not going to run anyone out of town, and he wants to coach us. That's why he's here, which I think meant a lot to a lot of the guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with that being said, though, we do got to go ahead and throw it to our first break here. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. We got the host, as always, to my left, and Nick Henrich, guest, stepping in today. So don't go anywhere. We got a couple more segments on the other side.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's not just the big game everyone looks forward to, it's the food. If you're hosting a super party, let Hog Wild Pit Barbecue do the cooking so you can cheer on your favorite team. Slow smoked ribs, beef brisket, pulled pork, hot links, and so much more. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Is your furnace operating like you think it should? Find out with a service check now from the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough system check to make sure you're good to go this winter. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchanger checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The sport of baseball became segregated in 1889. In 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the major league color barrier when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Certainly baseball has grown considerably, and we're quite proud of the role that we played in it.
Every year on April 15th, all MLB teams celebrate Jackie Robinson Day to honor this civil rights pioneer. We salute Jackie Robinson during Black History Month.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on this station.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Chancellor Brewington, the host of What's Brewing with Chancellor, as always to my left, along with Nick Henrich, stepping in as a guest. And again, if you guys ever want to join the show, start our Heyman text line 402-464-5685. And if you want to put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961. But nonetheless, I'll throw it back to the host, Chancellor Brewington.
Yeah, so I think we touched on you just coming in with Rule and just how the things change. So I think we'll just pick up. I think you were in a team meeting, and obviously he brought each player in, which is awesome because I think not a lot of people understand that. Like when new coaches come in, they can give you a full scholarship and whatever, and just say, yeah, you're done on this team.
Exactly.
But it doesn't reflect on their scholarship count. So for him to like do that, that just shows obviously integrity and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And then even after that meeting, we're like, okay, we kind of have good standing, but it was kind of a weird break because we all went home, like Christmas break, and they all went on recruiting. So no one was really around each other.
Right.
And then January comes and we just hit the ground running immediately. And I think it was pretty evident how like great the strength staff was, and as well how much of an effort Coach Campbell stayed and talked to us all after Rule left and just dapped us all up and was like, hey, like we've been through this too. Like we know how much it sucks for you guys. Like the coaching change is brutal.
Man.
Like, we're all in it together. So I think that side of it as well, and just how the whole staff was all on the same page and just really genuinely coming together. Like we're going to get this team better. Like we're here for these guys here was pretty special and encouraging, and definitely guys you want to go to work for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I want to pivot real quick because we didn't touch on it enough, and we'll get to the 2022 season. But I want to pivot back to Purdue game 21 or 22.
Right.
I want to pivot back to there and just the obviously, like you said, you've dealt with injuries, you've dealt with the mental roller coaster of injuries because we know. I mean, for guys that's been through that, we know what it's like.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's always good for the first week. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get through it. And then all of a sudden the surgery date hit and you go under and you wake up and it's a reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm here. I got, a year to get better.
Exactly.
Like, it's such a slow process. But yeah, I mean that I definitely knew something was wrong right away during that play. I was like, just felt my leg basically snap. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. And, walking off, the trainers just felt it and they're like, yeah, you tore your ACL. Like, it's not
Right
good.
away.
Yeah, right away. Like they felt it. And they told me in the tent. And I was like, man. So I went and called my mom and dad in the locker room at halftime. It was just, crying. Like I was like, I had absolutely nothing. But then you're still a captain, right? I'm still a captain. So I got to go back out there and suck it up for a half and coach these guys because we had Ernest Hausman, true freshman, stepping in and had he doesn't know exactly what's going on. So I got to help him out. And he's a great player.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but he's still a freshman.
Exactly.
So you just okay, let me go be a captain for 30, 40 more minutes, however long it took.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go worry about this later. And I just remember talking to Doc and going under the knife and, coming out the other end and just thinking man, this, why me? You know what I mean? This is why did this happen? And then Luke, this is where, you never know what adversity is going to bring. And a lot of times it's blessings and things you could never even imagine. But Luke just invited me to church. I'd never really been a super spiritual guy at all. And
Right.
I had nothing else to do. I was just sitting in my room, lost. So it's okay, I'll go. And then just something just changed my life. Still, don't get me wrong. You have that kind of moment where you're okay, Jesus is king. God is good. God is real.
Right.
But it's still a long process. You're still this broken man who's been living the wrong way for so long. And you just strive to kind of take steps closer to Christ. But just that invitation that Luke offered is something that I'll truly never forget. And it really changed my life. So
I want to dive into that moment just a little bit more, because I think there's a lot of people out there that maybe are just searching for that, but they don't know how to get that, right? And I just want to just take me through that moment where he invites you to church, and was there obviously was there a burden that was lifted? What was it?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to describe it. Just like a breath of fresh air. This is what, you try and become fulfilled with the world, and you have all that the world has to offer. I was super highly recruited. I was, I had success on the field, and nothing's ever enough until you find Jesus. And you nothing in this world will ever make you satisfied. Jesus is the only thing that can do that.
Yeah.
And I think it was that realization of how did I miss this for so long? And all it took was it's crazy because I've had numerous people like Jamie Nance, who I lived with for a while. I think he left before he got
I didn't
here.
get to meet him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, but he really always pushed me to go to church, and I always would come up with excuse. And even Luke in previous times said, hey, would you want to do this with me? And I'm just nah, man, that's not me.
All right.
But I would encourage people that sometimes it does just take an invitation. They might not say yes right away,
right?
But still just being there for them and inviting them to do that stuff could really completely save someone and change their whole life for the better. So I would just encourage people to have courage to speak about it.
Yeah.
And have courage to just have that uncomfortable conversation or make that invite when they don't necessarily feel like it's right.
No, 100%. So during this rehab process, what do you remember? Because I've had a lot. I've had shoulder, wrist, all these different things, right?
Crazy, for
man.
Crazy.
So what was there? Was there a moment where you hit rock bottom, even after the church moment?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. Things were trending super good for a while. I was working with the new strength staff a lot, and I felt big and strong and fast. And then once I got to camp, I would say, and I was playing football again, I was oh, I have a long ways to go still. And that's not something in my head, I was oh, this is perfect. I'm going to be you know what I mean? I'm going to come back and be the guy again.
Right.
And I wasn't I couldn't cut how I wanted to. I couldn't move how I wanted to. I felt restricted. I think that really was the first major test of my faith again. Because you think God has this, you always envision yourself as the main character when none of us are at all.
Man.
Again, it's Jesus. It's not you, not me. It's Jesus.
Right.
So you're oh, this is why I'm going to come back and it's going to be this great story. And it's oh no, I still have adversity. It's still hardships. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that wasn't easy at all. Especially even I had a bad ankle injury in camp. kind of to where I was feeling better. And then that kind of sets you back in. I end up missing the first game.
Right.
So there's still those trials that happen. It's just how you deal with them, I think, is a little more easy.
Yeah. So I honestly felt like, obviously, before Luke invited you to that church, I knew you, obviously.
Right.
But you've always had this like kind of selfless, positive mindset, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you now that you kind of know, man, I know who Christ is and I know all that he exemplifies, like all the good things that he is, like you've been gifted from before you even knew him with all these things that believers want and like you've been gifted things that like
I appreciate that.
No, like for real, like you've been gifted things like that people beg for and work for and work for and work for. So like how now that you have this relationship, how have you been able to sharpen those things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's just not that I was coming out of a bad place at all, but I think it was just more of a selfish, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing this for me, so I'm a better person, you know what I mean? Now it's like, no, I'm doing this for Jesus. So it's, again, not doing it for yourself, not doing it for this world, but doing it for him.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you're going to point people towards the right thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I was reading this thing and it was what was it? The Lord, it says the Lord, or you like you make a plan, but the Lord just directs your steps.
Yeah. Right.
Like we all make
a plan,
bro,
and it's never how it never goes exactly how you're like, oh, like this is how it's gonna go. It's like, no, you have no idea,
bro. Every single time, I think I've written in my notebook, man. By senior year, I'm at this. I'm at this. Check. I'm gonna marry this girl, and I look back on that notebook, bro. None of those came true.
Not even the girl.
No.
Good-looking guy like you.
Nope.
Well, not yet, right?
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
yeah.
We're so searching, but I think that just is a testament for it's always going to be even better than that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bro, if I would have got those things, if you would have got those things, bro, you'd have been a wreck.
Yep, a wreck.
But the thing is that I think the wilderness and I think the season of trials, the season of the unknowing, the season of difficulties, I think they produce so much character. And when you come out of it, obviously you don't come out sprinting. You're like, oh, I'm ready. But like you slowly get ready for the blessing that's going to come.
Yeah.
And there's a certain character that you need for that blessing.
100%.
You need it. If you would have got the blessing without the character, you would have fumbled it.
I would have lost it.
You would have fumbled it. That's like, it's like you go back to the Old Testament with the Israelites. Like if they would have brought into the promised land all the things that they learned from Egypt, they would have been there for about probably 3 weeks and they wouldn't be able to stay. But because obviously there's a certain respectful discipline that God gives us.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's a molding, there's a pruning, there's
trials,
a character development. There's a Jeremiah 18 when it says we're all on the potter's wheel. We're on the potter's wheel. You know what I'm saying? We're on the potter's wheel. So I think that's awesome. I think, man, I'm on the potter's wheel right now.
Yeah.
You know, like there's something that's on the horizon that I'm getting ready for. I think, I mean, I'm not speaking for you, but I could assume
for sure
100%.
I'm right there with you,
man. So I think that's just, man, praise God, obviously. But man, we just got a little bit off topic.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's always on topic.
No, that's always on topic.
Always on topic.
That's always on topic. Okay. So 2020. How am I getting this?
We're getting into 3.
We're left football. We left off with the Purdue game.
Yeah.
And we got through the injury.
Okay.
So we're on the 2022 season last time.
2023. 2023.
Yeah.
What game was it?
That meant the most?
Well,
or was the worst, the best?
I'm saying with the injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what?
The injury was Wisconsin.
Yeah. And
that was the last game.
That was home game?
That was an away game on the road.
Overtime.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So that was, I mean, again, you talk about trials and your faith being tested, no matter if you're saved or you're not saved.
Yeah.
That was a big, like, I wasn't expecting this. So I was planning on, having a pro day and, giving my shot at the next level. And, I was a couple plays and a game away from that, you know, and it was God had other plans for me. And I just remember almost being in disbelief this time because I knew it had happened. And I told the trainers, I was like, I just tore my ACL again. Like, we don't need to look at it like it's torn. Just get me out of here. They're like, no, let's check it. And I was like, I'm telling you guys, like, it feels the exact, like, I know it's torn. And I just remember seriously being in disbelief and trying to like come up with different scenarios in my head. I was like, well, maybe it's just like my LCL, or maybe it's my, you know, something more or less serious. And, you know, sure enough, you get the MRI results, and that was a really tough day. I think early on I handled it well. I remember going in, getting the MRI the next day, and then Doc was in there and he was just telling me the news, and like, yeah, it's probably a wrap for you, my man. Like, I'm sorry. And I just remember like walking out on the practice field by myself, and I just called both my parents, who have been, you know, my biggest supporters, and just two really amazing people, and just like, yeah, like I'm sorry, like I wanted to do this, but I felt like I'd failed, you know what I mean, a little bit, but of course they don't view that at all. And I was like, I'm proud of what I did and everything that had happened, but like that's a career for me. And, you know, then they're sharing stories about the first time they took me to football, and it's getting emotional, but it was just that was a really tough day, and my faith was tested more so. I think early on I was like, all right, like it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm reading scripture. I'm feeling good. I was like, God is just planning something better for me. And then I think what you don't realize is 2 weeks later, and then you do go under that knife, as you know, now it's real. Now it's different. Now you're like, why has this happened? I'm lost again. You know what I mean? So I'm sure you've had similar experience with injury, and just the confusion and the fear of the unknown is really tough.
Yeah. I think, man, that's obviously powerful, and that's a roller coaster of emotions. Just that phone call, that's crazy. But I think there's one thing that's like that got me through mine, because for a lot of people I don't know, I broke this wrist and this wrist at the same time. And for this wrist, they told me I'll never play again. For this wrist, they told me I'll never play again. And it was just this whole thing, right? But there's one common thing, and it was like, especially in this season now, it was like I always look back on David's life, and there was something that was so like I couldn't wrap my head around it when I was younger, but now I see it now, and it was that how transparent he was,
right?
And that how like in his Psalms it was a roller coaster of emotions, and he was dealing with it his way, like and it wasn't God, why'd you do this to me? But it was also being real and not hiding anything.
Right. Talking to God in a real way, not just
because he knows everything. He knows my thoughts. He knows what I'm about to say. He knows where I go. He knows where I just came from. So like that's the thing. Like, bro, it's magnificent how when you have those vulnerable conversations, the peace it gives you
100%,
because you let it all go.
Yeah.
You let it all the things that you hide from your friend, from your parent, like the things that you don't even tell your significant other. That obviously we don't want to hide anything.
No,
we don't want to hide
honesty
anything.
is always
honesty is yes.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like the more intimate stuff that like really is that thing that like kind of gets you whatever.
Right.
In those moments, I think just giving it to him and the peace that he gives you that's when it says it surpasses all understanding. Like that's a real thing.
Very
it's a
real.
Vibrant experience. If you've experienced it, like you've lived out that scripture, oh, you have a story to tell about it. Like for sure.
100%.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of beauty in Moses' story.
Oh my God.
In a similar way, as far as when God, you know, chose him to tell him what he wants to do. He's like, no, like I'm not the guy for that.
I have a stuttering
like,
problem.
I can't talk. Like my brother, have you met him? Like,
no,
he's good.
Yeah.
You have him do it. But it's like God knows you better than you know yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And he loves you, and he's gonna put you on the path that's best for you.
Yeah.
And if you think that, oh, like how could he take this from me? He's protecting you from something bigger. And you just don't see it yet.
Because he sees the end from the beginning. Oh my gosh.
Bingo.
Man, in hindsight, it makes everyone look like a genius, though.
Sure does.
Like it makes everyone look like, oh man, that dude knew it the whole time. And when you're in the story, you're like, hey brother, I was scared. Hey brother, there was times where I just wanted to go home and cry because I thought
terrified.
I'm scared, but I trust him.
Right.
I'm scared. I'm a little scared. Right. But I trust
we'll
you.
let him lead the way.
Yeah. If it's I gotta take my left foot first, let's do that, and then I'll do right foot. And then
We'll run that back.
Yeah.
No,
for real.
Yeah, that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll end up good, wise words to go ahead and think on while we get our last break in here. So again, What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, host as always to my left, and Nick Henrich in here as a guest. Couple of former Huskers. Don't go anywhere. We got one more segment.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Husker fans, it's your last chance to catch your top-ranked Nebraska wrestling team in action at the Bob Devaney Sports Center as they host a top 15 conference matchup on Friday, February 9th against number 13 Michigan. It's their annual Pepsi Pack the House duel, and all tickets and 24-ounce Pepsi products are just $1. The duel starts at 6 p.m. Get your tickets today by visiting huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
'Tis the season to give the gift of good times. Save up to $3,500 on select models or receive promotional financing discounts on qualified vehicle purchases. With deals on KX Youth motorcycles and KFX Youth ATVs, TRX side-by-sides, and more, there's no shortage of savings and good times to be had by the whole crew. Don't miss the 'Tis the Season sales event. Visit Elway Power Sports of Lincoln today. Check them out at elwaypslincoln.com for more detail.
It's phishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring,
If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. I am Harrison Arns on the ones and twos back here at the 1040 Ticket Studios. This is What's Brewing with the host, as always, Chancellor Brewington, and we got Nick Henrich, a couple of former Huskers in here as we kind of wrap things up. And again, last-second comments, 402-464-5685, as well as the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Owl Channel 961. We have one from Thomas, or Debbie Thomas, that love these interviews. Keep them coming. And that will certainly be next week as the show will continue to go on. But nonetheless, I'll throw it back to the host, Chancellor Brewington.
There's something I want to read. I thought it would resonate with you.
Talk to me.
It was, I don't know where I saw this. It was actually it was like a little podcast I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
It was two pastors going back and forth, and they were spitting. But there was this one line, and I was like, bro, I gotta bring this up tonight. It was earlier today. I was watching it. It says, "How can I learn about His limitless power if I'm always in a position, or if I'm always in a powerful posture?" Let me reread that. How can I learn about His limitless power if I'm always in a powerful posture?
Wow. Where'd you hear that on?
Oh,
I gotta listen to that.
No, I'm gonna send you it. It was remarkable. I'm like, that's so true.
Write that down.
No, that's so true, because when you're strong, you don't need anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're weak,
you think you got it all figured out.
Oh my gosh! But when you're weak, you need it. You need them.
Exactly.
That's where he just like Jeremiah 18. He just break you, and then he start building you up. And now you need me now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You'll come around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what, like 2021, you're healthy. Like you're healthy. You think you're balling. You know what I mean? You're doing all. And then 2022, you're like, oh, I'm just broken.
Yeah.
And then that's when, Christ will show Himself.
Man, I mean, that's awesome. I think there's one verse that brings to mind when I read that. It was when Paul is talking about there's that thorn in his side, and he prays to God 3 times, and he's like, "Hey, can you please remove this thorn?" And he says, "My grace is made perfect in your weakness. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. My grace is all you need. My grace is sufficient." Like, that's all you need.
Grace is more than we all deserve.
No, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. I shall not want.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need. That's all you need. So I think that was just powerful. I think
that's very powerful.
Yeah. I mean, but you look back on, I can't wait to get older and go through all the trials and to be able to give it to someone.
100%.
You give it to someone and you have that wisdom and perspective that only comes from God, obviously, in the trials that He puts you through, and then you're able to give it to someone.
Yeah, I think people can have a lot of shame, even because if they're like, man, like I got all this grace, like why am I feeling these feelings? It's like, well, you're still like, just because you're a believer doesn't mean your life's going to be easy.
Oh, it says,
and it doesn't mean it does not mean you're just going to be this like perfect you're never going to be perfect. The idea is you want to be more Christ-like, but you're never going to be Christ. Like, that's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, who wrote all the New Testament, says, "I'm the biggest sinner of them all."
You look at all these like even like heroes in the Bible that have all just committed these horrible crimes.
Yeah,
and it's like no one no one is ever too far from God,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's also ever perfect. And just because you're saved doesn't mean you're perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've maybe have you ever had experiences where you're like, feel almost guilty and shameful? You're like, how can I even call myself this if I keep messing up?
Come on.
You know
Come
what I
on,
mean?
brother.
Yeah.
Brother. We could be all night.
Everyone, I think being
Yeah.
open and vulnerable about that, as far as like, yeah, like I'm, you see all these like, Luke baptized me and everyone's like, wow, this is so great. That doesn't mean I'm perfect by any means.
Oh,
and
no.
it doesn't mean I'm like this crazy. Like I mess up a lot and I'm, you know what I mean? I'm so unworthy of this grace, but it's just a part of life.
Man,
and to have that wisdom, like you're older and explain to these kids, like you're going to still mess up. You're going to have these trials and these problems, but that doesn't mean Jesus doesn't love you.
Man.
You're never too far away from him.
Man, I think that's so true. And there's one point you said that we're all unworthy. I think when you get in the word and you understand what he's saying, it just it just humbles you. And it gives you some humility and gratitude. And you're like, bro,
there's this peace that comes over you.
And then there's also like this conviction, and it's healthy conviction, of course, but it's also like, dude, like Holy Spirit's like, hey, you need to clean this one up. Like, and then like your pride.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
we're
gonna talk about it.
Talk about this.
And guess what? You have a Bible study tomorrow night? Yeah. Guess what the topic's gonna be? That. And guess what? Guess when that happened? Last night.
And who's gonna be uncomfortable? You.
No, but that happened last night.
That happened to you? Oh no.
Yes, I'm like, bro, I'm not really trying to talk, like whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden
they bring up this issue and you're like,
oh bro,
I knew it.
I'm like usually kind of talkative on there, and they're like, hey, why are you not talking? I'm like, I'm just catching holy jabs right now. I'm just catching holy jabs.
I'm in the trenches, man.
I'm going through it. But I think that's what's so awesome, man, is that, bro, just to have that humbleness and just be like, bro, like I don't know where I'm going, bro.
Exactly. Not at all. Not at all.
No, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Hey,
this was awesome.
This was a great conversation. I always appreciate you, my man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My guy.
Absolutely. And that's going to wrap it us. Shout out to Nick Henrich for hopping in here on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, and the host, as always, to my left. I got a couple more comments. We don't have time to get to them all, but we're sure to get those messages to the guys after the show. Appreciate you for listening, and we'll be back at 11 o'clock with the Daily Nebraskan. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, that was.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The sport of baseball became segregated in 1889. In 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the major league color barrier when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Certainly baseball has grown considerably, and we're quite proud of the role that we played in it.
Every year on April 15th, all MLB teams celebrate Jackie Robinson Day to honor this civil rights pioneer. We salute Jackie Robinson during Black History Month.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.